Lock your hands in concrete and never move them.
Sharon attributes her tennis accomplishments to three things. First, natural ability. She's naturally coordinated. Second, practice. She works hard. And third, and this is her secret weapon, she keeps herself mentally fit. She often visualizes herself in the process of winning a tennis match.
Here is a useful technique for practicing gesturing. Go through your speech one or more times, forcing yourself to gesture at least twice in every sentence. Keep up this forced, exaggerated movement until some gestures begin to feel natural. You will find that they continue to appear when you resume speaking normally. Number 4, make pitch, rate, and volume work for you. The great dramatic speakers range from whispering to shouting. They sometimes take long, dramatic pauses, and other times they race through an entire paragraph. Sometimes they rumble in deep anger, and other times their voices rise in joy or exasperation. Exaggerate this in your practice session. Have some fun. Let your voice roam a little. You'll be able to hear the results in your tape recorder.
You may not find yourself in an intense athletic struggle. But the point is this. You can find yourself in equally intimidating situations, and yet you can still feel confident. Why? Because you can mentally rehearse the situation. You can feel like you've been there before.
The fifth tip for effective speech presentation is more abstract. We call it ideas, not words. Concentrate on your message rather than specific words. Concentrate on the images and the ideas you want to convey. When you become enthusiastic about your subject, this enthusiasm becomes your greatest asset. Gesturing, voice modulation, word choice, and even memory will become more spontaneous. When we last saw Jerry, he was standing in his living room. He has another hurdle to overcome. There'll be people out here. And if Jerry is like most of us, his mouth will be a little dry, his chest a little tight, and his palms moist. Every good speaker feels nervous before going on stage. Some may call it excitement, but the symptoms are the same. You're never going to get rid of all your nervousness. And despite how you may feel now, you really wouldn't want to. Nervousness is a symptom of the heightened sensitivity which is needed to perform well. Still, it is important to control nervousness. Jerry has already taken care of some of the necessary steps. First, he's prepared well. He analyzed his audience and researched his topic. What he has learned has made him enthusiastic about his speech. He has also organized his speech well, with a clear introduction, discussion, and conclusion. He has used examples, demonstrations, and gentle humor. And he has kept it simple. Even more importantly, he has practiced. He has practiced his speech more than half a dozen times. As Jerry practiced, he became adept at one important mental trick. In fact, it became the theme for his attitude towards speaking. He trained himself to do that little mental somersault that changed, "I can't do this," to "I can do this." He paid close attention to the inner monologue we all go through, and he made it work positively. This is so confused it's awful. Somersaulted to become,
If I simplify and put these ideas in order, this speech is going to work.
I'm not a trained speaker became,
I know the material. I know how to practice.
I'll never get this perfect became,
Nobody ever gets it perfect. But this information is useful and important.
I'm nervous became,
This is exciting. It's an opportunity.
Despite all his preparation, Jerry expects to be nervous when it comes time for him to speak. He knows it's best not to fight his symptoms of nervousness. He'll accept these symptoms as an indication that he is keyed up enough to give a good, energetic speech. Jerry has arrived at the hotel an hour before lunch is scheduled to begin, but he has already been here before. He stopped by a few days ago to take a look at the meeting room. His purpose now is to refamiliarize himself with the banquet room and make this territory his own. Since he's early, Jerry leaves the room and goes for a walk. During his walk, he will visualize his audience as friendly, supportive people who are excited about hearing him speak. Expert public speaking is an art. The finer details are limitless in number. We learn by practicing, but we also learn through experience. One good way to start is by asking questions at group meetings or by volunteering to speak to groups with which you are comfortable. You may also want to consider joining Toastmasters International. Toastmasters offers an entertaining and non-threatening environment for learning public speaking.
Please welcome Dr. Jerry Baker.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. Now, some of you who are golfers will no doubt recognize this situation. You're lining up a putt. You're moving from one side of the pin to the other, checking the slope and the grain.
We'll return to hear the end of Jerry's speech in a moment, but his hard work is done. Jerry's going to do fine because he is well prepared. If you also organize your speech well, practice it thoroughly, and commit yourself to the process of learning to speak, you too can become an accomplished speaker.
Now, before concluding, I'd like to review positive imagery. Now, the technique is so simple, this will only take a moment. First, imagine the situation. Now, let's say it's an important sales presentation. Be sure to picture the room and all the people at that meeting in great detail. Then, imagine yourself feeling confident and calm. Visualize yourself working through the sales process. And finally, picture the successful result, the signed contract. You know, I have a neighbor who is a highly sought-after public speaker, and he is excellent, the best I've ever heard. In fact, many of you know him. His name's Art Johnson. He spoke here a few weeks ago. Well, I've always thought of Art as a natural, someone who speaks effortlessly. Well, Art recently confessed to me, much to my surprise, that public speaking still scares him. He says he's even tempted sometimes to cancel. But then he pictures 50, 100, 500 people in the audience listening to him attentively. He imagines them laughing at his jokes, applauding and thanking him. And he says that that is an opportunity that's just too good to pass up. Now, I don't know what Art calls it, but I call that positive imagery. It works for successful athletes, it works for Art Johnson, and it can work for you. Thank you.